Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel if you are a returner, and if you are new, welcome. It's great to have you. This video, look, it isn't a pros and cons. There is no balancing as far as I'm concerned in this conversation. I've got other videos where I balance. I'm not trying to balance here. I'm being straight about things that are really not great about Sisterlocks as far as I'm concerned. The problems with Sisterlocks, and there's 5 of them as I see them, and I'm going to run you through all of them. The first one, and the biggest one, and the one that has the most impact, is consultants. So no, not all consultants, not all trainees, a minority, a hardcore minority of rogue Sisterlock consultants, trainees who know that they are doing a bad job, either because they are incompetent and have never really trained or kept up to make sure that they do a good job. They don't really take any pride in their work. They don't give a damn. They're just in it to make money. And we have people like that in all walks of life. You have rubbish accountants, rubbish HR professionals, rubbish managers, rubbish whatever. But in the Sisterlocks community, there are some things that enable those people to continue being rubbish and going unchecked, yeah? They're up. Until they decide to hang their tool up, they can continue messing with people's heads. And when I talk about these consultants, I'm talking about the ones that answer their phones to take business and personal calls while they're doing your hair. The ones who never ask you how your hair's doing, who blatantly ignore things that need fixing in your hair, or put you off when you notice things need fixing in your hair, to the extent that it results in you going for another appointment, a whole different appointment with a whole different pricing range that you know nothing about, whole different regime, because you're having repairs now. Oh really? Repairs that I've been telling you about for the last 3 months that you haven't fixed? Really? What? How does that happen? I'm talking about consultants who do not have any respect for your time. So don't stick to a schedule. You know, don't stick to the schedule that they put down. Don't respect the fact that you've got other places to be. Leave halfway through a consultation to go and do whatever it is they think they've got to do. Yes, these people exist. They really, really exist. Rude consultants. And don't get me wrong, I work in human resources, yeah, so I work with people all day, every day, and I know that people vary, and I know that, you know, one person isn't the sum of everybody else. And so I know that we're talking about a minority, but they are a problem, because they are the first people that you encounter when you want to get Sisterlocks. And if they are incompetent or if they are negligent, that can make or break an experience. And since I've talked about the fact that I've taken my locks out and I'm on my second set of locks, I have almost been inundated with people contacting me saying, oh, this has happened or that's happened, I'm not sure. You are sure. You know in your gut that you're not being treated properly. But because we feel beholden to these people who have us feeling like only they know what to do, it's a tricky place. You're in a tricky place and you don't want to say anything bad. You don't even want to challenge too much. You don't even want to question too much, you know, and it ruins the experience for some of us, and they are a problem. The other thing that I think is a problem is the pricing. And what I mean by that isn't necessarily the price. So I believe that I paid a fair price for what I've got in my hair. I totally respect the fact that these consultants, the great ones, stand over your hair. It's very intricate, very involved, and they take time to make music in your hair. So I haven't got a problem with paying for it. What I have a problem with is the lack of transparency around pricing that allows some of them to just go rogue and charge whatever they want. Now, I've been doing a lot of reading, and brand ambassadors were created, as far as I'm concerned. Go and look for yourself, watch the videos, read what a brand ambassador is supposed to be. I challenge you to tell me that's not what any decent Sisterlocks consultant is supposed to be. I challenge you. I read nothing in there that made me think, hold on, this isn't what an average Sisterlocks consultant shouldn't be. It was around charging the right price. It was about upholding the standards of Sisterlocks. It was about having a space that was appropriate to do Sisterlocks. It was about making your clients comfortable. It was stuff that I was like, wow. And when you watch the video that Dr. Cornwell put out about it, she talks about the fact that people are not always getting the great experience that she expected people to get, or people should get when they go to have Sisterlocks. So these brand ambassadors are like the shining beacons of what good looks like as far as a Sisterlock consultant. Why can't we just deal with the ones that are not doing a good job? Why can we not modernize so that we can deal with the ones that are not doing a good job? And why Can we not? One of the things that was in there was around pricing. I think I mentioned that, charging the price that's in line with Sisterlocks. The pricing is very confusing because there's no set, clear kind of guidelines for people to understand what they should be paying for what they're getting, from corrections to installations to retightenings. It's so peculiar. In the UK, I have to say, the range doesn't seem to be as significant as it is in America. You know I live in the south of England, and I know, as many of us do, that there's one particular consultant. They're not even consultants anymore, but there were one set of consultants who were charging the most ridiculous price known to woman, and you know that was very obvious compared to everyone else whose prices were at or about the right price, or at or about the same price. So you knew that you were being looked after, if that makes sense. But theirs was like 3 times everybody else's. How are you able to do that? How are you able to do that? Is that not damaging to the Sisterlocks brand, that you've got someone who has just completely gone native and lost the plot? The second problem with Sisterlocks, I would say, is the ambiguity. What I mean by that is that you'll know it feels like some kind of secret society. I have 100 more locks in my head this time round versus last time round. Now, my head hasn't grown anymore. My hair hasn't got thicker. It is simply that I didn't know what I should have in my head last time round. There's no kind of guidance, but I did know that in some areas the lots were humongous compared to other parts, and everybody else knew that as well, but no one ever kind of said that until I got a little bit further down the line, and to this consultant that I've got now, who is an ambassador, who looked in my hair and said, oh, you've got all shapes and sizes. Now, yes, there will be some very subtle variance in terms of the size, but not to the extent that I had it. But it's ambiguous, right? It's a black art, yeah? There's all kind of legal wranglings and fears that people have about saying too much or saying too little, and the whole kind of process is patented. No, it isn't. The name Sisterlocks is trademarked. That's it. It's a brand. You cannot patent a technique that has been around forever. That case failed. The one against nappy locks failed because it is impossible to say that this was created by Dr. Cornwell. No, it wasn't. The name maybe, Sisterlocks, but interlocking has been around forever. And there really isn't a black art to this. There really isn't. But that's why consultants, etc., trainees sign up to legally binding documents that say they will not disclose things that they have learned on the training. So there will be a problem between them and Sisterlocks, but that's because they've agreed at the outset not to share things. I get that. I haven't got a problem with that if you're protecting your business, but not to the point that it starts to create a detriment and people don't actually know whether what they've got, what they expect, is in line with the standards that were set out in the first place, because it's all covered in secrecy. Madness. It is a problem. There should be more transparency. I've said it before, I'll say it again. There should be more transparency. I have exactly 100 more locks. So last time round I had 472 after install. This time round I've got 572. Now, if I'd have never took my Sisterlocks out, if I'd have never been quite fussy about trying to figure this out and move around, I'd still be walking around with those locks. Some people look at them and say they were beautiful, there was nothing wrong with them. Do you know what? I liked them too. But actually there was a lot wrong with them, and the whole reason I got Sisterlocks is because I wanted uniform, manicured, neat, tidy locks. I wanted a bang, 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 banging grid, and I didn't get any of that by the time it was all finished because there's so much ambiguity and so much confusion. The other problem with Sisterlocks that I think can be quite off-putting to anybody coming into it. Now, thankfully, I missed all this bull crap. I missed it when I was looking at Sisterlocks. I'm quite good at filtering out the rubbish, and I was just focused on getting these locks that to me were beautiful, unique and different. Really, 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 really beautiful. I was looking at them thinking, what are they? Are they twists? Are they plaits? I didn't know what they were. But there's a lot of elitism. There is a lot of elitism. There is a lot of snobbery. And I guess it's because people are walking around with a brand in their head. I guess people are walking around with something that they paid a lot of money for and they take a great deal of pride in. And, you know, some people need that. And I don't know, you know, yes, they're not cheap. And I don't know, I can't even really justify or explain it because I don't feel like that. If someone asks me what I've got, I say I've got locks in general, unless someone knows what they're talking about and they'll ask me, are they sister locks? And then I'll say, yes, I've got sister locks. But I guess unless you were to get into my head and look at my grid, you wouldn't know I've got sister locks. You wouldn't know the difference between someone with micro locks versus sister locks, I don't think. Maybe the veteran of all sister lock consultants can tell you that they can see literally from a mile away what someone's grid looks like. I don't know. Maybe they can. But there is, unfortunately, I think, a lot of snobbery that's off-putting to people who want to get sister locks or who are having challenges maybe on their sister lock journey. And sometimes we can be so unkind and talk down to people. And I've seen it on forums. I used to see it on Facebook a lot. I see a little bit of it on Instagram, but less so. And I hear it really. And I just think, okay, I'll never knock someone for taking pride and being proud about the way they present and what they're doing for themselves. I think that's quite beautiful, actually, if it's not arrogant and braggadocious. But it comes across as both those things in some cases with some individuals. And I think that's a problem right there, yeah? Because surely we want to endear, encourage, uplift, inspire, promote, share. Surely that's what we want, innit? And that kind of leads me on to my last point, which is the lack of modernization. Like Sisterlocks, I think, has taken off. I'd love to know how many people get Sisterlocks installed per week, average, versus 5-10 years ago. Because I think it's taken off like wildfire. I think here in the UK it's still relatively unknown, if that makes sense. I saw a Sisterlock consultant on Instagram in Scotland here in the UK saying that she was the first consultant in Scotland, and I was like, wow, really? Scotland's quite a big place. But she is, so it's still building and gaining momentum. But I think that Sisterlocks HQ have failed to keep up with that. I think that they are incapable of responding to concerns, queries in a timely fashion, if at all. And I think actually as you grow, you need to grow with the responsibility that you have and modernize and create ways of making this, keeping this great. Because as you grow, new challenges, bigger challenges, as you scale up, so do the problems and the issues, and you need to be able to deal with that. Otherwise it implodes. Too many people have bad experiences with consultants that they are not able to deal with quickly enough. And I refuse to accept that that is the way Dr. Cornwall wants it to be, or that this is completely unmanageable. It's nonsense. There's membership bodies, there's professions, there's things out there that enable organisations to ensure that things are being done the way they should be done, and if they're not being dealt with properly, they can address that directly and quickly so that the brand doesn't suffer. All I ever hear about is Sisterlocks suing people, and I'm not saying this is true, I'm just saying what I hear. All I ever hear about is going after people for revealing trade secrets, this legally binding document that they sign up to. What about going after some of these consultants that you know are doing a really bad job and creating a very negative narrative around Sisterlocks? It is a problem. I love Sisterlocks. I love what I've got in my hair. I absolutely love the way it's given me freedom and transformed my life, but I think locks potentially would have done that for me anyway. But I do love this. I deliberately chose Sisterlocks. That's why I'm on set 2. But I really feel as though there are some significant issues that need addressing in order to keep this great. The whole thought process, the whole business model that Dr. Cornwall has come up with, I can't say anything negative about it. I think it's great, and I wish that this was accessible to even more women of colour, even more people with curly afro hair. I wish it was more available. It really helps love your hair, love yourself even more. But it is time to deal with some of the problems that are creating negativity in this space. Some people will watch this video and say this whole video is negative, you're not balancing it. Damn right. You're damn right. I'm not balancing it. I'm just telling you the truth as I see it. There is a lot of negative. overwhelmingly good stuff out there, but I'm not dealing with that right now. I'm dealing with the fact that there are some things that are so bad that they make people want to leave what is otherwise a great journey, a great path, a great direction of travel, and they need addressing. They do.